Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams, Matthew Walker, PhD, book review. Max Wardell, overheadathletics.com. Going to go through a little book review today on Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, PhD. It's Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. As the subtitle, it's a New York Times bestseller. Awesome book. Goes through a ton of information in regards to sleep, sleep hygiene, importance, dreaming, why we dream. There's a ton of stuff in here that is useful to everyone, regardless of what you do, regardless of who you are, because we all sleep. If you're working with athletes or you're working, with patients in the physical therapy clinic, even more important. Talks about how sleep impacts athletic performance and how sleep can impact strength and pain. So, I think this is an invaluable resource to anyone who's a clinician, anyone who's a strength and conditioning professional, a coach, or anyone in general. Learning about sleep is very important, seeing as that you spend about, hopefully, 7 to 9 hours doing it per night. And it'll kind of dispel some of the myths, too. That's something I really liked about this book. It goes through the science. Matthew Walker is a researcher at University of California, Berkeley. Currently was a professor of psychology at Harvard, or psychiatry at Harvard, but he's a neuroscience professor with a PhD in neuroscience. So he really does a great job of bridging the gap between neuroscience and psychology, at the scientific level, the neurophysiology, and bridges the gap to the general population. I think anyone can understand this book. Reading it a couple times is not a bad idea. They also have audiobooks. This is obviously the paperback, but there's an audiobook version as well. You can read it, or listen to it while you're driving. He actually recommends reading it before bed or something like that, because if you fall asleep, he goes through why falling asleep reading it is a good way to internalize a lot of the information as well. So great book. Check that out. If you don't know a lot about sleep, it's still a great place to start, and that may lead you down a pathway of learning more about sleep. But I think this is a fairly comprehensive book for what you need if you're, just a person out, general population person, or if you're a person that's a clinician in rehabilitation and strength and conditioning. This is a great place to get started, or a great way to read a great book to read a few times. That has a ton of information in there, and you won't get it all the first time you go through the book. So check that out, and check out our book, Rehab to Throw Like a Pro: The Clinician's Guide by Ed Martell, co-authored by myself. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all those places. You can check that out.